days here. Yes, I know Haaretz. Yes. I cover the cannabis nation all over the world. So, yeah, whenever I'm picking up on Dr. Mashulm, it's usually from Haaretz. That information.
So maybe tell me a little bit about yourself and all the stations.
Okay, well, I'm 420 Radio. It's 420radio.org, and we are 24-hour cannabis community radio. I run it as a nonprofit, and it's like NPR, National Public Radio. It's like there's pledge drives, membership drives, sponsorships.
What's the rest of the top 24 hours?
Well, 2 hours a day, I have a weekday show, the Russ Belville show, and I run it like a news program. So I'll open up with the headlines. I have 5 headlines of what's happening in the cannabis community, and then I'll do an in-depth piece on one piece of news. I'll get into more behind the headlines on it. We have a break where we play some music. We come back after the music. We interview.
Special music or regular music?
It can be marijuana related generally, but it's not always. Not always. It's always independent musicians. We come back and we do an interview. A lot of the luminaries that are around here for this event I've interviewed on this show. Doctors, attorneys, growers, just anybody who has something to do with marijuana, activists, politicians, presidential candidates. I've interviewed a lot of people. I do it from my home in Portland, Oregon, and we do it via Skype, Google Hangout. We do it electronically, however we do it. Do the interviews. I do an opinion piece. We do live call-in with listeners, ask us questions. I've been doing this since 2008. I originally did this for NORML, which is the national organization for marijuana laws. NORML, N-O-R-M-L. Yep, and they're the national organization for the reform of marijuana laws.
And you're part of them?
I was. I worked for them for 4 years, and then last year I took this and started to do it independently on my own.
There is money?
Yes, I have sponsors. I have seed companies that are sponsors. I have listeners out there who buy memberships. I have.
How much is the membership?
It starts at $4.20 a month, but there are higher levels.
What do you get with your membership?
Oh well, there are some of the things that I
Our next seminar will be
are only
coming up
available
at
for
5 o'clock.
like my main show.
Senior cultivation editor Danny Danko
And if you
will be hosting a seminar for indoor cultivation experts.
Oh gosh.
Once again, at 5 p.m.,
120
Danny Danko will be leading a group of indoor cultivation
Yeah, I just started
experts
the
at
membership
our
thing
5 o'clock
this
seminar.
year, so it's been about 6 months.
And of course, tonight, our very special concert with members of Wu-Tang Clan.
Out of Amsterdam.
Once again, in 1 hour at 5 o'clock, our next
A few
seminar.
of these.
Thank you.
A few of these vendors around here donate items that I can raffle off and make money off of.
So, what's on the news?
Oh, lately, of course, you know, Oregon and Washington legalizing marijuana is big news still because they're still trying to work out how the market will be run. The part where people can possess marijuana has been in effect for a while, but the part where people can go buy it and sell it, they're still working that part out. And part of the problem is they worry about the federal government. How is the federal government going to react to these states violating federal law?
And how do you think they will react?
Well, it's going to be really hard for them to do anything about Colorado. Colorado's is a constitutional amendment, so that provides very, very strong legal support for what they're doing in Colorado. The federal constitution still outranks it, but I don't think the federal government really wants to have a state versus federal fight over this, especially when there was more votes for marijuana legalization than there were for Barack Obama in Colorado. That makes it politically difficult. And Colorado has regulated it so well, and there's so much money coming in from it. That also makes it difficult to find.
So you think we will see this in other countries, or this is a special in Colorado and Washington?
No, I think this is coming to other countries. In the Western Hemisphere, some of the Latin American countries, Uruguay, Guatemala, maybe it wasn't Guatemala, but I know Uruguay was one, are looking at alternatives to treating marijuana as a criminal offense. In Mexico, former presidents of Mexico and Brazil have come out for legalization, saying that their countries bear the brunt of the drug war. That's where the violence happens, is in Mexico. Internationally, Portugal has done amazing things with its decriminalization of all drugs. We've seen amazing results from that. Really, the United States has held the club in kind of beating the other countries into accepting this marijuana prohibition. So as it begins to relax in America, I don't see how it can't, get more relaxed in the rest of the world.
What do you think? I still don't see this what is the situation in California?
California is an interesting situation in that it was the first medical state, and its medical laws are so lax that pretty much anyone who wants to use marijuana can. And it all falls under this umbrella of medical. But really, in effect, it's more like legalization with a permission slip.
What does it mean?
Like you have a slip from your teacher or from the authorities that say it's okay. It's become a permission slip so that people can use marijuana, like they're using marijuana here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a doctor thing right over there.
You can go.
You get your little slip. You go out back and smoke marijuana.
So this is a good situation, or?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. It's a good situation in that people aren't getting arrested and going to jail. It's a difficult situation from the point of view of us legalizers because it's so good here. There's sometimes a complacency or a lack of urgency to want to make it any better. But still, people in California go to jail for growing plants, for selling plants. So there's a lot of work yet to be done.
You can grow?
You can if you're medical. If you're a medical patient, you can grow. I believe the limit is 6 mature plants. Although you can get an exception to have more than that. But generally, 6 mature and 12 little seedlings. But yeah, there's a case of a woman named Dr. Molly Fry. Molly, M-O-L-L-I-E, and her last name is Fry, F-R-Y. And she was a breast cancer survivor, was growing medical marijuana for other cancer survivors, was following the California law, but the federal government prosecuted her, and now she's in prison for 5 years. Yeah. Even though she's following the California law.
When did this happen?
What's that? When did this happen? A year and a half ago, I think, was when she was sentenced. I could be wrong on that, but it was within the past couple of years.
So say it's a problematic situation here in California.
In that respect, in the respect that it's hard to motivate people to want to legalize when they can come to a place like the Medical Cannabis Cup and it seems so free and open.
But maybe it's not doesn't have to be legal. When people say it's not good for children.
Yeah.
Maybe the situation is good.
Well, the problem with that is that there's always a marijuana market. A lot of people will say, for example, decriminalization, where you just get a ticket, just a fine if you smoke marijuana. But that only takes care of the person smoking the marijuana. It doesn't take care of the person growing it or the person selling it. And those people, no matter what, keep getting put into prison. So whether or not it's good for the children or bad for the children is a separate issue. The issue that we have to address is that marijuana has always existed. People have always smoked it, grown it, and sold it. And either criminals can run that or businessmen can run that.
What is your connection to this?
Well, I had been a marijuana smoker I've been a marijuana smoker for almost 23 years. I'm a musician, and in music, blues music, it was always just around. And so I'd never thought of it as a political thing. It was just something I'd rather do than drink alcohol. It was just a better choice for me. So as the years went by, I just kind of got used to being a marijuana smoker, and when I moved from Idaho to Oregon, it's more political in Oregon, and there were people fighting for legalization, and I thought, well, yeah, that makes sense. And then I lost a big job because of a drug test, and that kind of convinced information technology. I'm a computer nerd type. But I lost a career level job because of a drug test, and that kind of galvanized me to want to change these laws.
So what, you started to know people, and then you...
Right. I began with the local normal chapter, Oregon Normal, and from being around them, got to meet some of the national people. And once I met some of the national people, there was a series of fortunate events that got me to the point where I ended up doing their show.
So what are the challenges for the
Funding.
industry?
For the industry. The challenge right now is trying to grow the industry without attracting unwanted federal attention.
Oh, how do you do that?
Well, part of it has to do with the way the market, or the way these industries are self-governing. One small example, you know of edibles, medicated brownies and cookies that you put marijuana in. So in the case of medicated edibles, one concern is that children might get a hold of a cookie or a brownie, and this has happened a couple times. So people in this industry they do want to promote these edible forms, but they're being responsible now in changing their packaging, making it child-proof, child-proof caps and hard-to-open packages that a child couldn't get into, and labeling them well so that it's obvious that it's not just any old cookie, that it's a medicated cookie. If we continue to take those kind of steps and show the rest of the world that we are responsible about this, that we have the same concerns, then we can grow this industry. But sometimes you get people that are just out to make a buck, and they don't care too much about how it looks. And that's the challenge for us, is how to deal with that.
So thinking at the end of the process, the Obama government, what they'll do?
It's been a real shock and surprise that Barack Obama, who admitted to using marijuana and cocaine in his youth, would preside over the same sorts of drug war policies as the previous presidents. The Obama administration has done more raids on medical marijuana dispensaries than George W. Bush did in the whole 8 years. Yeah, just in these 4 years, he's had more than double the number of raids as Bush, or had about the same number of raids as Bush did in half the time. And there's some that will say that you can't expect the first black president to do something so bold. There were others who said there's no way he could do it in his first term, but maybe he could in his second term. My belief is just that the drug war is so politically entrenched that no one president can take it down in one action. It's entrenched with law enforcement, with petrochemical industries, pharmaceutical industries. There's so many different aspects that have to be addressed that a president just can't, sign a law and change all that. Although technically he could. But there's so many political pressures. That's the problem.
But this is the main fight against the drugs, the marijuana. Yeah.
It is. About half of all arrests in America for drugs are for marijuana. About 90% of those arrests are for possession. So yeah, if you took marijuana out of the equation, it's going to be hard for these police departments and the DEA to justify how much money they're spending and how big a staffs they have. You take half of any government program's clients away, you're gonna have to shrink that program. So that any bureaucracy does not want to shrink. It's always going to lobby to keep itself in business.
90% from the arrests?
50% of all drug arrests are for marijuana. About 50. It's like 48 one year, 49 the next, 51 the next, but it's around it. And then around 90% of that 50% is just marijuana possession. So yeah, 90% of all marijuana arrests are generally possession arrests. Worse in some states, it's 97% in Texas. Yeah, 97% of all marijuana arrests in Texas are simply just possessing it. I have to go.
I just want a picture of you.
Okay. I have to go get